Imagine your brain as a spaceship traveling through space. To stay on course, it needs two things: strong shields for protection and engines that run smoothly. But sometimes the engines overheat, shields weaken, and the whole ship slows down. That's what depression can feel like. A brain spaceship struggling to defend itself and keep moving forward. Depression can begin in the teenage years. It's not just feeling sad, it's like the spaceship crew is exhausted, the shields stop working well, and the ship drifts off course. For teens, that can mean poor sleep, low energy, problems at school, and even suicidal thoughts. Doctors call this major depressive disorder. Research shows girls are about twice as likely as boys to experience depression during puberty. A scientist named Narma Heslet and her team set out to explore how tryptophan and the chemicals it is broken down into in the brain are linked with depression in teenage girls and boys. Tryptophan is a special building block your body gets from food. Once it's in your body, tryptophan is converted into a chemical called kynurenine, which then enters the kynurenine pathway. The kynurenine pathway is like a crossroads where the brain chooses between two routes. First is the protective pathway. This is where kynurenine is turned into kynurenic acid. Think of this as shield-strengthening material that protects the spaceship. In real life, kynurenic acid helps protect your brain cells. The second way is the toxic path, where kynurenine is changed into another chemical called quinolinic acid. This toxic chemical can overheat the engines and weaken the shields in your brain spaceship. In real life, too much can increase the risk of depression and damage brain cells. Sometimes the brain spaceship hits asteroid storms, causing the ship's shield to work overtime, which leads to engine overheating. In real life, these asteroids are like inflammation in the body, which can also make the brain feel stressed. People with more inflammation in their bodies are sometimes more likely to feel depressed. One reason is that inflammation changes how the brain converts the kynurenine. When asteroid storm inflammation occurs, more kynurenine is converted into the toxic quinolinic acid than into the protective kynurenic acid. Then cracks form in the shields. The spaceship struggles, and these teens are more likely to feel depressed. When the asteroid storm inflammation gets worse, the levels of toxic quinolinic acid get higher as well. This can cause more depression. Narma's team studied 150 teenagers in Brazil, aged 14 to 16. They divided them into 3 brain spaceship fleets, 50 teens who were low risk for depression. The brain spaceships of these teens were on a safe course with strong shields. 50 high-risk teens. The brain spaceships were already showing tiny cracks in their shields from tough environments, like isolation or mistreatment. These teens had encountered some mild asteroid inflammation showers. 50 teens with high levels of depression, also known as major depressive disorder. These were brain spaceships with overheating engines and big shield cracks after major asteroid inflammation storms. Half the teens were boys and half were girls. The scientists tested their blood to see how much tryptophan they had. They also measured how much of it turned into the protective chemical kynurenic acid and how much turned into the toxic chemical quinolinic acid. They also checked for signs of inflammation. Then, they tested the teens who still had depression again 3 years later. Here's what they discovered. Girls were hit harder. Depressed girls had less kynurenic acid to protect the brain and more toxic quinolinic acid, which could cause depression. This pattern was not seen in boys. Asteroid storms made things worse. Girls with higher inflammation had more fuel diverted to the toxic quinolinic acid path. That meant more overheating engines, therefore weaker brain spaceship shields, which meant a higher risk of depression. They also had lower protective kynurenic acid. Again, this was not seen in boys. After 3 years, they tested all of the people with major depressive disorder. Around half had recovered from depression and had lower toxic chemical levels and stronger shields again. But the other half still had depression. Girls in this group had lower levels of brain protective kynurenic acid and higher activity in the toxic pathway. Boys didn't follow the same pattern. So what does this mean? Depression in teens isn't just about emotions. It's also about how the brain's fuel system handles tryptophan and which pathway it chooses. For some teens, especially girls, inflammation tips the balance toward the shield-damaging toxic path and the possibility of depression. This may also reduce the chemicals which protect brain cells. There are limits to this research. The study only measured blood, not fluid in the brain's central command system, which is called cerebrospinal fluid, where levels might be different. Also, all the teens came from one town in one country, so the results may not apply everywhere. More research will be needed in other areas to confirm what the scientists found. However, this is the first and strongest evidence so far that girls may face bigger challenges than boys when it comes to depression. Another strength of the research is that the results were also measured over 3 years, a long period of time, with similar results for girls. In the future, doctors may use a simple blood test, similar to a fuel check for a spaceship, to predict who's most at risk when inflammation strikes. Treatments might be made to boost protective kynurenic acid, reduce the toxic pathway chemicals, or calm inflammation so brain spaceship shields stay strong and the risk of depression is lower for teenage girls. So what have we learned? If your brain is a spaceship, you need strong shields and engines that don't overheat. For some teens, especially girls, the way their tryptophan is processed can make them more likely to experience spaceship shield cracking or, in real life, depression. By studying these pathways, scientists are one step closer to predicting who needs help and finding new ways to protect every person and brain spaceship on its mission and life journey.